Oh, I gotta cue the music. It's gonna go so bad. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Running Rampant, Speed Demon speeding down Scalding Avenue, riding on hopes and dreams while Uncle Gary gets kicked out of a half marathon while karate kicking Karen at the finish line episode of the Days Grimm. My name is... Fucking wait for it. Brian Michael Day.
My name is Thomas Grimm.
Let's pour some bourbon, dude. Let's pour some fucking bourbon, dudes. Hey, dude, hold on a second. Before we get carried away with all this fucking BS in the beginning, dude, can we talk about the Dolphins fucking smacking Lamar Jackson at the fucking... All right, I'm over it. Anyways, so welcome to another thrilling episode of the Days Grimm. I hope you checked in last week. I hope you're checking in this week, and I hope you check in next week, where we have these amazing guests. We find out who they are, what they are, where they're from. You know, you like, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment, karate chop your fucking Uncle Karen at the damn finish line of your first half marathon. Yeah, that's what I've got, man. How are you doing, dude?
Doing good.
Good week so far?
Yeah,
or,
busy week, you know, like always.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. Hold on, I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way.
God bless you.
Oh, she's a squirter. Tell you what, I'm really pumped about this guest in particular this week just because of the pure ability. You've read the intro, I'm assuming, at this point, and you're aware of the fact that this individual is a fucking speed demon.
A White Kenyan.
And almost a Tyreek Hill of the tri-state area, if you will. That's an NFL reference, but he's fucking fast.
Super fast.
Hit him with that intro, baby boy.
Joining us this week in the Days Grimm shoebox is the fastest man in Evansville, Steve Matthews.
What's up, Mr. Steve Matthews?
I'm good. I'm a little humbled by that intro, and there may be some debate about that.
Are you the fastest man in Evansville? Hold on, you have to make your claim to fame.
Here's
you
what
know
I'll
what
say.
I'm saying?
I'm the fastest old man in Evansville.
Yeah, you're not that old though. You're only like 53. Is that what did we decide? What did we land on? You said you were born in 47.
Yeah. So
no, he's 119 years old, guys.
I got my cane out here.
Yeah, dude. Don't forget to take your lipid medicine after this. No, dude. So, do you think you're the fastest man in Evansville?
What distance?
Just in general. Let's say a sprint. That's typically what people want to see and or care about.
So,
do you think what's your 40-yard dash?
40-yard dash.
You ever done a 40-yard dash clock?
No, we can do it now if you want.
Damn, you're ready. You're primed.
Yeah, let's do it.
You're ready to go, dude.
Go. No, so as we train more endurance, we lose a lot of that fast twitch, speed type of work. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'd have to spend considerable time training for that. Yeah.
My favorite part is Steve's one of the only people I met that has a lower heart rate than me.
Well,
it's
now that Thomas has ruined the fucking, I like that wink, dude. Everybody fucking saw that, okay? He just fucking winked at my guy, dude. Hey, hands off, buddy. No, dude.
No, but it's
so
like 31.
What is your resting heart rate?
37.
Is that through biotech or do you
yeah.
randomly check it? Okay, so you're rocking the Android.
No, it's a Garmin.
This is a Garmin.
Oh, it's
Phoenix
a Garmin.
6X.
I'm a big fan of Garmin, actually.
Yeah,
just
good.
trialed a watch because we were going to do a try. Excuse me. We were going to do a try late this summer. Wound up getting canceled. Cyanobacteria in the lake. I don't know anything about that. The count was too high, so they called the race. But anyways, so but I was trialing I don't know any of the names or the nomenclature, but it was a Garmin, and I think I paid like $100 for it. It's been through like 100 races though, so like it's got some miles on it. But they're supposedly like right up there. They're one of the top competitors as far as like athletes, outdoor endurance sports, whatever, hiking, climbing, whatever you're into.
Which is why Apple came out with their new one to try to compete.
I saw that.
He's a slut for Apple. Real quick, before we even get into this, guys, this guy is like $3 make you holler for Apple. Swear to God.
I really am. I've watched every Apple keynote since like the beginning.
You're trash. So give me like a real quick, like 2 minute, not 2 minutes. That's a long time. Let's say 60-second synopsis on like who is Steve Matthews just as a human being. Obviously, we're going to talk about running today, but like just let the folks know like who is Steve Matthews?
Like an
in 60
elevator
seconds.
pitch of who you are.
You're selling yourself as a human being, not on like the sex market or something, but like you're selling yourself as a human being. So
Gotcha.
like, what's that look like?
So I'm 34,
Okay.
and so there's something.
There you go. Knowledge.
I'm a really disciplined type person. So like all the little things matter to me in life as far as training. And so, yeah, training's a big part of my life. I'm married to a beautiful lady, Autumn, is my wife. We've been married 7 years.
Shout out to Autumn.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I hope
Super
she
blessed.
sees this. Make sure she watches
Yeah,
this.
she'll probably listen.
Okay.
So we've been married for 7 years and been in Evansville here. I'm a PE teacher.
Oh,
So I
big
get
shoots.
a lot of energy from the kids.
Okay, there you go.
My wife works at Barry, and we live up on the north side of Evansville. I'm a quiet person, so that's one thing that's really interesting about me. I'm a thrill seeker, adrenaline junkie, but I'm quiet about it,
That's so weird.
which is kind of strange.
Yeah,
like
that's
people think I'm
counterintuitive.
extroverted because I work in a school, and I can be extroverted, but my true nature is really quiet, reserved, disciplined, practical type person.
Calculated.
Yeah, that's so weird because people that like get into the endurance sports or like the extreme sports, like I'm a fucking skydiver. It's like when they walk into a room, they're like, yeah, I drop kicked a cheetah out of an airplane one time. Like they have stories to tell, and they're very. I feel like, don't you think they're like extroverted people?
Yeah, and most of the time, a lot of people have a lot of like stories or like are like the fastest in their craft or the best in their craft in the area. You know what I mean? They tend to be that extroverted type, I think.
Yeah, that's strange that you are so. Not that you're soft spoken. You're crushing it right now. Clearly, your voice sounds really good on the microphone. By the way,
Thank you.
But yeah, dude, I don't know. That's a very good synopsis. So 34, man. I'm trying to think. Where were you when the towers went down? I don't know why. That's the first thought that I have.
We always bring that shit up.
Yeah, so I was in 8th grade.
8th grade, dude. I was
Yep.
in 6th grade, man. Isn't that weird? It's been that long, dude.
8th grade.
We're gonna die real soon. We're just dying every day. We're getting older.
So, Brian,
It's so sad, dude.
what's wrong with that DOT dub?
This week's death of the week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not super jacked about it, but Thomas is making me read it. But before we get to it, check out these super sick coasters on Etsy. Link in the description. Promo code Days Grimm saves you 10% or $10.
10%.
10%. $10.
10%.
10% on anything that he sells, and I think he's making a stripper pole. I've been making that joke for 3 weeks in a row now. Honestly, I hope he's making a stripper pole at this point. This week's Death of the Week, rolling into it, guys. Not great, not super jacked about it. Florida man killed in apparent sand dune collapse while filming sunrise, authorities say. A Florida man killed after a sand dune on a beach apparently collapsed on top of him, the local sheriff's office said on Monday. The 35-year-old man, who has not been identified, was believed to have been resting while taking a video of the sunrise. Again, officials say. The man was discovered when a beachgoer, can I just say, that's my least favorite noun of all time. Beachgoer saw a person of his or a portion of his body sticking out of the sand, the Martin County Sheriff's Office said in a statement. Officials said it appears that he had been trapped under the sand and died hours earlier from asphyxia. Nothing that no foul play is suspected. Jesus, Murphy, can these guys learn how to freaking write a damn article? Officials said toxicology tests are pending, but noted that The tests are standard procedure and said the results, quote, are not likely to change the outcome of the incident being a tragic accident. The man's death comes nearly 3 months after a 13-year-old boy was killed in a sand tunnel collapse in Utah. Officials said died after a tunnel he apparently dug in a dune at Coral Pink Sand Dunes State Park collapsed with him inside.
It's like a 2-for-1 right there.
I'll tell you what, I'm a big bargain shopper, and we just got 2 for 1, guys. Dude, okay, so okay, I'm hung up on the noun. Beach goer, dude.
And I'm hung up on the fact that half these articles have to say official
Who's writing
states.
this shit? Who's writing this shit?
I don't know, but
Who's writing this shit?
Half the article is literally official state or this
yeah, dude, it's literally like a 4th grader is like turning in a term paper. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, write a report on sand dunes, and literally this is what we come up with. This official state this, sheriff's department said that. Just tell me what the fuck happened, honey. Tell me what the fuck happened. In your words, tell me what happened. I'm over it.
You sound like a real English teacher.
I'm done with it, dude. You fuck with English teachers or no? No, I'm just joking. What do you think here, dude? We got a dude digging holes in the beach. Are you a hole digger? Are you a beach goer?
No, mountains all day.
Fuck
Mountains.
that noun, dude.
Yeah.
Who says beach goer?
Not going there.
Who says beach goer? You know who says beach goer? 95-year-old men who play backgammon. I'm over it, dude. Who's writing this fucking article? It's like a 95-year-old man playing shuffleboard, and they're like rolling dice with a 4th grader. And they're just like, hey, how could we write the shittiest article about this poor man in Florida who died? Also, shout out to Florida. You guys are dying in the most extravagant ways. We had a guy not too long ago in Florida died hunting. What was he hunting?
I don't know.
What was he hunting?
You're thinking of a different guy. You're thinking
No, that was in Florida. He had the dog chain necklace.
No, that was the guy in Europe hunting with ferrets.
You're right.
Hunting with ferrets.
The crazy ass Brits. Yeah. That was only like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But yeah, I've had so many of these deaths of the week. They like merge together. But Florida, hands down, is smacking dicks when it comes to dying, dude. They're just going above and beyond. Man mauled to death by koala bear. And it's like, I didn't even know they had koala bears in Florida. Oh, they didn't. He illegally brought it in from El Salvador, and then it killed him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Something
fucking
weird.
Florida, dude. Let's get to our
Steve,
guest.
Did you grow up in Evansville?
Yeah.
What school did you go to?
What
like
side of town, dude?
What side of town? So,
Represent.
I guess it would be like Melody Hill area, which would be like the east side.
Is that in a different state?
No, it's just like on the east
Melody
side.
Hill?
Melody Hill, yeah.
Melody Hill?
Yeah, Melody Hill.
So what
You guys sing a lot of tunes up there?
Yeah,
or what's
yeah.
happening, dude?
No, I went to
I grew up in a
Vogel,
trailer
and then-
park. I was like, Melody Hills, I've never heard of that. That's crazy. So Melody Hills, okay, east side.
Yeah, east side.
what high school would have that been?
North High School, the old one.
Oh,
Diamond.
damn. So you're like northeast side.
Yeah.
Deep east.
Yes.
That's what I like to call the DP.
Yeah, DP.
The deep
That's it.
east. The deep east.
Diamond Avenue, original North.
Oh, damn.
Did,
Okay.
in high school, were you a runner?
Yes.
So you ran track through high school?
Yes, track and cross country.
What was your fastest mile time in high school?
Yeah, so that's part of my story. Whenever I went into high school, I was 4'10" and I weighed 76 pounds.
Dude, we are literally like the same person. I chose a different path.
He's like, I just grew to 4'10".
Yeah, literally, dude. No, I was very, very small in high school as well. In my mile time, I was very proud of it. I think I ran a 3:59.
Dude.
One time.
Broke 4.
One time. One time I
goodness.
ran a very, very, may have been like 3:57, 3:58.
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
I ran a very in PE class because we were
yeah.
like, that's when they first get you on the
So
track.
you broke 4. You broke the 4-minute barrier.
Yeah. Like fast. Like I was 5'5", 5'6" my freshman year, and just a beanpole, dude.
Yeah.
But I loved running on my own when I was in school. Like this was pre-drugs. This is like I hate everything about life. This is just like I grew up in the county, on the county line, and I was out running on county roads. So I was just I would just do it all 5-6 times a week just for my own fun. And it came to PE class, I had that natural competitive spirit, dude. And I was like, I'm going to blast there was still a kid faster than me, like at least 2 or 3. But yeah, like sub 4 one time.
Dude,
but
that's
normally
crazy.
I was crushing like 4.25 on 4.25 on my mile times.
No, that was not me, man. I mean, like
You weren't fast in high school?
I mean, yeah. So people knew I was fast. Like I had the stride for it. But picture someone that's 76 pounds, 4'10", and then when I was a senior, I was still like 90. I didn't even break 100 pounds. I was 96 pounds.
I think I was
5'1".
I'm pretty
I was
close
a tiny
to that.
dude. So the work I was
To
putting
scale,
in,
obviously.
yeah, the work I was putting in, I wasn't going really anywhere.
Right. You
with
can
that
only
good
with
stride.
small stride.
Yeah, so I think I was maybe low 5s, maybe on the track. My 5K PR senior year was 17:01.
Really? You never hit a 4-minute mile in
man.
junior high or high school?
No, I didn't do it.
That's insane. Did you know anybody that hit a 4-minute mile?
Oh, you mean like, no, not in this area.
What?
So 4 O's would take you.
Maybe I'm a liar. Then maybe I didn't hit a 4-minute mile.
Yeah.
But I swear to God, I was fast. You didn't know a single person that hit a 4-minute mile?
No, so 4 O's for
I'm
the
going to call my
16
PE teacher now.
Yeah,
He's going to be like, you were actually the fastest kid in Northern America. Like,
yeah,
no,
4
that's
minute
not
mile
the
dude,
case.
super quick. So a 4 would take you to state. I mean, you'd win state. I saw a guy, Gabe Findle, a few years back. I think it was 2000.
They tried to pull me on the track team.
He ran like a 4:09 in one state, 4:08,
Really?
something like that. Yeah.
Damn.
I mean,
So I had something special is what you're
yeah,
telling
you
me.
did. You should have pursued it for sure.
Dude, no, but I swear to God, I hit like a 4-minute mile. I remember being like to the point to where once they put us, because I hated running on the track. I loved running cross country, like out in the roads, multiple miles, long distance. And they put me on the track, man. I remember I weighed nothing. And I was just like zipping and zooming, beat everyone in my PE class. I think there were a couple of kids that were faster than me that were like on the track team. But I was just like a demon. And then I started doing drugs. Probably, okay, so maybe not sub 4. Let's say 4:30.
That's quick.
But I remember it being 4. I remember 4 sticking in my head. But I was fast, man. And then I put weight on, got taller. But that's the killer, though, isn't it? The weight. The weight. What does 5 pounds do to you?
Yeah, so I read the other day about additional weight, and I can't remember the exact numbers on it, but it's a big deal. Whenever you are carrying extra weight, I mean,
people think like we're saying extra weight, but it's even like 2 pounds.
yeah,
like
so
if you're going to
you're
compete,
carrying that over the course of a 10K, half marathon especially.
Yeah.
So people talk about race weight, and they try to make their race weight.
Mm-hmm.
That can be a dangerous concept because then you're cutting calories, and then you don't get the nutrients you need, and you can get injured.
or starving your body at least.
So
you ran all through high school?
yeah, so I've been running since my first race. So my dad was a really good athlete. He ran for USI back when it was ISUE back in the 80s.
Oh, back when they were on St. Joe. Shout out, dude.
Yeah,
That was
so
back in the day.
So my dad was more of a sprinter type though. 400 was his thing, and he could flat get it like under 50 seconds kind of deal. So
what's 400? That's 4 football lengths.
yeah, that's just one lap around the track.
That's a quarter mile, essentially.
Quarter mile,
yeah,
yep.
just short of a quarter mile or just over a quarter mile. And he was running it how fast?
A little under 50 seconds.
Jesus, fuck my ball sack.
It's not official, but out there at USI, the cross country coach clocked him at 48s and some change out
That
there.
coach has got to be a goddamn liar because that dude's.
It's Stiggy Moeller, so.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, you know who that is?
Yeah,
he's a
I know his
legend.
brother, dude. He's the Moeller, like the
Stiggy
swim coach.
No, this was the running coach at that
No,
time.
I know, but his brother is his brother not a swim coach?
Oh, I don't know.
Stiggy Moeller and oh no, I'm thinking Zoller. Retract that. Take that. I'm gonna edit that out. Okay, sorry. Zoller is who I'm thinking of. All-state swim coach at Mount Vernon High School.
So your dad got you into running as like a kid?
from an early age. Yeah, I remember my first race was over at Westlands
Stiggy
Park. I was like 7 years old, and it was raining something crazy that day. In that golf course is where they had the race, a little par 3 golf course.
Which golf course is this?
Westlands Park.
Oh yeah.
It was like a little Parks and Rec type of race for 7 and 8 year olds, all the way up to 12-year-olds.
Hell
and
yeah.
We would just run a single lap around that, but it had just rained, and the field was flooded, and we were running in water up to our knees.
Oh man!
And I remember like getting such a great sensation from racing. And that just stuck with me. And that I guess I've always been trying to
Did you win
pursue-
that race too?
I did win that race. I have that trophy. I should have bought it.
Damn,
brought
that's
it.
your first win?
Yep.
And that was also your first race entry.
Yeah,
like your
7,
first
8-year-olds.
coordinated race entry, and you won.
Yeah.
So
and then,
you're
yeah,
born to be a runner, clearly.
Maybe. It's what I feel most free doing. So.
Well, what do you think that, I mean, I don't know, dude. I think that we're all born to do something. And I just feel like maybe it's not like international, like you're not going to make an international difference. I mean, maybe you are, but like, do you feel like you're born to be a runner, or do you have like another passion that like takes that takes a higher priority, short of your wife and your kids or whatever, but like, like a passion, like you know what I mean?
I mean, there's like a motor inside me driving me to do it, and it's the only time I feel really connected to, whether we say like a higher power.
Yeah, it's not even Earth. It's just like, it's a weird thing. You hate running, but it's like when you take mushrooms and hop on your bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
And you feel that when your gears are kind of spinning all day, like this gear is spinning over here and this gear is spinning over here, and then all of a sudden you take your mushrooms and you hop on your bike, and then all of a sudden those teeth just lock in, and now those gears are fucking... I feel what you're saying, and that's what I get from running.
Yeah, I think the cool thing too is like I feel the sport and I feel it in my body, and like the movement feels correct, and then like hearing from other people too, they're like, that guy's stride is right on. So when people see my stride and say it's like poetry in motion.
I gotta see you run now.
Yeah, there's some videos online, but they'll say that stride is pretty correct.
Where are these videos at online?
It's on Facebook.
Okay, so I'll look you up on Facebook while we're talking about it. So go ahead, Thomas.
But no, I was gonna say, so yeah, I guess you collected a bunch of medals from being 8 years old all the way through high school.
Yeah, but you know, the interesting thing, I feel like when I was 7 and 8, like, you know, other kids hadn't developed at that point. So I'm racing 7 and 8 year olds as a 7 and 8 year old. But then, you know, once I got to middle school, whenever I really got into competitive running, you know, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, those kids really started to develop. So I felt like, you know, I was putting in the work, and then my body was rejecting the training because I just wasn't maturing.
Right.
You know, so it's cool now. Like I feel like in my 30s, since I've gotten back into it, I'm actually at a point where I can say I'm running as I should have been in high school and college.
Can we check this stride out real quick? Is that okay with you?
Go with the...
So what are we looking at here? I got like 10 videos here. So
let's see here. Go back to my page there.
Oh, go back?
Yeah, in the feed.
In the feed?
Yeah,
oh,
just
shit.
go down.
Here we go.
Yeah, just go down there. There should be... Well...
Oh, is this you?
No.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Go up there. Go up.
Up.
We're not friends, so it's not showing you the video.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Here, I'll pull it up on mine. You can see it.
And you can even text it to me if it's able to text. But either way, yeah, I wanted to check your stride
Just send him
out.
a friend request real fast.
But I'm intrigued by the intricacies of running. There's so much to it. People think that I throw my shoes, I throw my trainers on, I throw my shorts on, I throw my headphones in, and I go. But there really is so much to your lower back, your stride, the way your foot strike, your cadence, your breathing, your upper body thoracic positioning. And it's like,
it's a skill-based sport. A lot of people think, you know, it's just for developing fitness, but it's skill-based. And so how you do it is very important.
To be good at it, to be competitive at a level that you know what I mean, that you can actually compete and like at least get on the board and show times to people. It takes a lot to and this is it. This is your stride.
So you can turn that volume down on the side.
Oh, I don't mind. The way you kick off is beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. It really is very nice. I went to school at U of E for exercise sports science. I focus on all sports, but like I have a niche in running. I like lifting weights. You had mentioned when you walked in, you're like, yeah, you're thick as fuck. And I'm like, yeah. But also I really like running. Like if I could get down to 155, 165, it's just not in I'm getting older. It's hard to get down to that weight. But yeah, I do like lifting, but I really have a passion for running. I really do. And there's a lot that goes into it and people don't realize, but that's a beautiful stride. Really,
Thank you.
really
Thank
is.
You.
And we'll post all his socials in the episode description. Click on him, add him on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and you can see this man. He's the way your heel comes off of the ground out the back. Like you're exaggerating it. Do you feel like when you were first learning to be competitive at running, like you had to exaggerate that outward, bringing your back leg up?
That's a good question. A heel lift like that isn't the product of doing that purposeful. That's a product of speed and force. So biomechanically, there's only a few things you can do to increase your speed when you're running. It's a forward lean. So you have to have
Fall forward.
Yeah, you have to fall forward. You have to have the core strength and back strength to hold that form. And then the only way to run faster is to pull harder, to pull through harder.
To make your rates per minute faster, or your cadence faster. Yeah.
So that leg, it travels back that far because of it's a rebound force. It travels back, and the hip flexor pulls it back forward. So no, you don't really train for that. You just develop proper muscle tension, proper muscle fibers, strengthen the heart, strengthen the lungs.
So like the way that your leg is kicking out in the back, that is just like natural to your anatomy.
That's where the leg has to go.
You just feel, I know, but the way that it comes out, yours comes out like high, like very, very high. When I'm running multiple miles, what was that I was watching?
That's a finishing pace at 4:30. So that's
at a marathon.
That was a 15K this last, not this last weekend, but a week ago.
Okay. I like how it was just like, a marathon. You ran a whole marathon at a 4-minute pace. And I'm joking. But like, I didn't know if like, so for like when I'm running 10 plus miles, like my form, like my back leg is coming up, obviously. I'm not like shuffle walking, but my back leg's coming up because that's what you have to do. You're falling forward and you're trying to like, you're catching yourself constantly. So my back leg comes up, but yours comes up so drastically. And we'll have to be sure to, I'll have to be sure to include a clip on this, but like, I highly suggest you guys check it out.
So after high school, did you, when you were in college, did you run in college?
Yeah, so I went to U of E as well, and I went there for engineering, but I switched my major because the classes were very difficult for me at that time. I think it was a calculus 2 was too difficult for me, so I switched to education. And I went there as a runner too, so I ran cross country. I didn't do indoor track, but I did cross country.
Oh, you signed on to U of E as an athlete?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Intriguing, dude.
Yeah.
They have some of the, I say it's the biggest school in the city, but it's not. Now USI is really taking off, moving up into D1 for basketball. Their population is just out of this world. But like, I think when I was going to school at U of E in 2015, 16, 17, and up until I graduated, like I think competitively in sports, like we were probably arguably like it was USI and U of E neck and neck still, I feel like. But yeah, the athletes that come out of U of E are just freaks.
So you got a scholarship?
Freaks. What's that?
You got a scholarship?
No scholarship.
Okay.
No, more like just running for fun.
Did you win any medals while in college?
Yeah, so my 8K PR on the cross country course was 26:38. Which is just, it's standard. It's nothing fantastic.
You were running for fun, but you were on the track team, right?
On the cross country team, yeah. But they didn't sign me on through scholarship. I was, But
so is that like a walk-on situation?
Yeah, it'd be
essentially.
Yeah, they recruited me, but I was probably considered a walk-on. I wasn't anything too special.
But how did you compete against other? I mean, I know we just said that you have a title or a trophy, but
was it in high school or college that you started getting more into the research of like, how do I eat proper? How do I do everything how did you develop
auxiliary stuff?
Yeah, how did you develop your routine now?
So
essentially,
back in college, we trained twice a day, and I still was really underdeveloped. I weighed about 102 pounds.
God, that's so little.
5'3", 5'4". So I underperformed in a pretty big way, and my body rejected a lot of the training.
Really,
I didn't get injured, but it was just
couldn't keep up.
It was weak. I just felt like all the training just weakened me further, and then I couldn't perform any at the races. 26:38. I think my junior or senior year is pretty substandard time. Not fantastic.
26:38 for what?
26:38 for an 8K. So
is that like when you really started to do more research into diet and stuff to become a little?
Yeah. So I did a lot of the research then on my own, studying diet, studying about how to get stronger, but my body was just really far behind. So, and I can talk about my story. It wasn't until my 30s here where I really got back into training big, and my body's accepting the training now. So I see myself growing.
So what do you think it was as far as that before your body really started responding to duress as far as, to running or to, the training. So to be competitive in some of these events that you're talking about, like the 4Ks, the 8Ks, stuff like that, to really put up good times, like you've really got to put in the work. I mean, we're talking like milliseconds matter, not so much in a marathon where, a minute matters, a millisecond, not so much the case. But these smaller events, at what point or at what age did you really notice that your body started taking to like, oh, we're running 10 times this week and we're going for how far? You know what I mean? Before you really started noticing like, holy shit.
Yeah. So
30 seconds off my pace. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So after I can talk a little more about my story, but when I graduated from college, I went overseas for about 2 years and lived in Japan, and I taught English over there. And I'd run some not consistent training of any type, but then I came back to Evansville and got a job as a teacher out at Scott Elementary School. And then, so I also fixed houses on the side. So that took a lot of my energy. So I only had time maybe to run once or twice a week, 4 or 5 miles. But on the weekends, I'd go race a 5K and I'd still drop, 16:20s, 16:30s. And that's on maybe 1 or 2 training days a week. And so I was thinking at that time, I'm like, dang, that seems like a pretty good time. The people I was racing, I was beating them pretty good. I didn't realize that they were putting in a lot of training. At that time, when I was 27, 28, I wasn't putting in any training, then I just dropped that time. Well, 3 years ago, almost to the date, my brother, Dave, shout out, he introduced me to an app called Strava, and then he told me about these smartwatches. And I got on there, and
the competitive
competition begin.
So I got on there and I started looking at
all these sissies out here are running these. No, I'm just joking.
no sissies, but I noticed that some of the races I'd been doing, people put in a large amount of work. I'm talking like
hours.
50, 60, 70 miles a week.
Yes.
And here I'm coming out on like one day of training, one training session, 2 training sessions.
10 miles total.
And dropping to 16:30.
Yeah.
And so I got this watch and I started, keeping track of my paces. And, comparison is the thief of joy, but sometimes comparison can really kick you in the butt and get you going. And so I would see like my runs, they were fast. They were fast.
You're no slouch.
No, they were. I didn't have endurance, but they were fast.
Yeah.
And I asked myself the question, I think it was about 3 years ago. I said, hey, what if I put in just the amount that these other athletes are putting in? Where do you think that would
the
take
same
me?
amount of miles and the same amount of hours and effort?
Exactly. So
hard miles.
I consider if I'm putting in 60 to 75 miles, where's it going to take me? And it took me somewhere,
a dark place.
Yeah, dark place, but also like I started running like under 16 minutes, and then I started running mid-15s.
What are you referencing here? Under 15? Under
5Ks.
16? Okay. You got to keep me up to speed. I'm not like an avid run. I'm an avid runner, but like not competitively.
Yeah.
So you're saying like, is that the standard that other runners compare one another to, the 5K, which is like 3.2 miles?
It just depends on what type of athlete you are.
That's like 3.2 miles, right?
3.12.
3.12.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people prize like the ultras and stuff, but 5K is a really good race to run because you recover from it really quick, and usually people don't get injured from that race.
It's not that much. Really, 3 miles is nothing.
It isn't. But
it is for
the sky's
Thomas.
the limit for improvement on that race, and tens of seconds make a big difference. Like,
Well, I was gonna say, when you first got biometrics, smart tech, whatever you want to call it, did you become obsessed with like all the numbers?
So I wasn't obsessed with it, but I did start seeing other people's, average paces over 10, 12 miles. And my paces were always like a lot faster, and I didn't feel knackered at all. I didn't feel tired at all. And I go do the same thing the next day and the next day. And I started stacking a lot of those efforts. And, I really learned that, hey, my body recovers quick now. It's accepting this training, which is something it never did whenever I struggled in high school, always sore in college. My body's rejecting the training for a week, but like I started to actually feel strong from the training.
Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I got a brother, Dave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we go any farther, I have to make an assumption, and you can tell me if I'm wildly off. Your brother, Dave, shout out to Dave, is either, how tall are you?
5'7.5", 5'8".
5'7.5". Okay, so he's either exactly your same height and 225, just jack cock diesel muscle, or he is 6'2".
Where are you getting this from?
I'm guessing. This isn't a wild assumption.
You're way off.
This is Brian's been drinking all day, watching the Dolphins beat the Ravens. Been drinking. No, but my assumption was that like maybe you were the smaller of the litter, essentially, and then like maybe it just took your body longer to. Are you the younger brother?
Yes,
You
a
are?
year and a half. But we look kind of like. Well, some people say we look. Pretty
Does he look
twins.
exactly like you? Yeah, he's 5'7" and he's 145 pounds or 165 pounds.
Nah, we're about the same height.
Really?
And yeah, he's got a little more muscle than me.
Okay, so I wasn't too far off.
How many first place for segments do you hold on Strava?
Dude, now that's something. Okay, so I get that app, and then I start looking at the segments. I'm like, dude, I can compete whenever I want with some of these segments, and that really got me into some good places and running. I have a lot. I think I have. I don't know. I'm not obsessed with segments. You know, if I get one, I get one, and sometimes I accidentally pass through them. But when I first got the app, I was collecting them, and I think I got to like 100, and I was like, I'm not going to worry about this anymore.
Can one of you two elaborate on what the segment, the quote unquote segment is?
I've tried to introduce Brian to Strava like 2 or 3 times, and he just sticks to Apple Watch. You add him on there, you can see his workouts, whatever.
Sorry.
But I was showing him the app, and I was showing him some people I know that do running like you. Like I showed him your Strava, you know, and I'm like, this dude, you know what I mean? Like this dude's running 12 miles on trails at like
my pants. By the way, when he showed me your Strava, I literally dropped a shit in my pants and had to go change my pants, and then I came back and continued the conversation that we were just having. Let me take a peek at this, and you go ahead.
So
Thomas,
Strava is going to show you different segments. So through those runs, it's like past that the most people run through. And then so it takes like everyone's times, and like it shows you if you're like one of the top 3 in that segment, if you were the fastest person. So then it gets competitive for like certain segments. So like when you're biking, Newburgh Riverfront has like 3 segments. And so like I know that those are specific segments, so I hit it extra hard on those specific spots of the run or bike.
That's intense, my dude. So you're a very gifted runner. I don't want to let's not focus. I don't want to focus so much on the running aspect right now. So you get out of high school, right? Mm-hmm. You get out of high school and your body's just not really reacting the way you want it to. You're 18 years old. Do you go straight to U of E?
Yeah.
So you go straight to U of E as an English major, right?
So I went for engineering, and then I
said that, yeah.
I was undeclared for a bit, and then I decided to go into education.
Okay, so
right after you get out, you immediately go to Japan.
Dude, that's crazy. Yeah.
What drove that? That's what I want to know. What drove leaving U of E to go to, because I know there is a U of E Japan connection.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
Yeah, because U of E has, they have actually a weird amount of Japanese students there. And it's like, not weird, but it's just strange in that I don't know the connection, but what is that? And explain, please.
I pursued an education degree, but then I had a minor. I was pursuing a minor in teaching English as a second language. So they used to have an intensive English center there on the campus, and I'm not sure if it's still in operation or not. But I would do some teaching there. I did like some practicums teaching in the intensive English center there, and they had a connection to a university over in Japan. And they were looking for an intensive English teacher at that university. And so they wanted me to graduate early and come over and teach in April of 2010. But get this, I boarded a plane the day after I graduated. And 2 days later, I was standing in front of college students teaching.
That's
it was
insane.
the craziest
What was the name of the campus in Japan?
It's Tokuha Gaikuin University.
Tokuha Gaikuin.
So did you have to learn any Japanese to go there?
I didn't know any Japanese when I went there. So I picked it up.
Yeah.
But I've lost it now. So it is what
dude,
it
he's
is.
like, actually, I'm fluent. So ni hao ma. It's like, no.
So you were there for 2 years, and then you
About
come back
2
home.
years. Yeah, then I came back home. And actually, the reentry shock is crazy. You know,
Coming back to America?
Yeah, culture shock. And you know, from being in the military.
Oh,
but
geez,
culture
yeah.
shock, going somewhere is not hard because everything's new and you're a sponge. You're soaking everything in. But then when you come back, it's like, you know, it's nostalgic.
It's the little things. It's like opening car doors for women or something, or opening doors for women.
Well,
it's
on
like
that side, it would have been like getting in on the left side or whatever versus the
yeah,
right.
it's such the small things that you don't like, the way they serve their dinners or something. You're like, oh, I'm used to having dessert first. What are we doing here? You know, or whatever. It's something.
It's a polar opposite.
Do you
culture,
remember
too.
one thing that was like the biggest shock to you, like having to readjust? You were like, oh fuck, I did this in Japan for like 4 years, and now like I got to get used to putting my left sock on before my right sock or something.
I think the original shock was when I was in the airport and, you know, I got off a long flight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a 14-hour flight. And I actually, you know, you take off and you're traveling, I guess it would be backwards in time. And so I had a 14-hour flight, so I literally landed like 1 minute after I took off. Yeah. So, you know, I got to use the restroom, and I find a restroom and there's a squat toilet. I'm like, what is going on?
What is happening?
What is happening?
Yeah. Dude. So what is? I'm gonna have to look up a picture of the squat toilet in a minute, but like it's to the floor, isn't it?
Yeah,
and that's how they all are in Japan.
No, they're not all like that, but this one happened to be. And
Damn, that's so weird to me because they do that in Afghanistan too. It's like they just like hunch and it's like go time. And it's like, what are we doing?
It's better for your colon. So
I guess. Are you a fan of squatty potty?
It's like that foot leveler or whatever
Nah,
falling
I
on the
have
toilet.
You don't know squatty potty?
No.
What?
It's
okay, so
no, we don't need to get into it.
All right, I won't make the point then. All right,
So,
whatever. Dude.
When you come back, is that around the time you meet your wife?
Yeah, I'd been back. I think I'd been back a year and a half, and I met my wife. And she was working at a local gym. And I wasn't like trying to pick up girls at the local gym or anything.
That's the ugliest thing, by the way. Like when I'm at the
Yeah.
gym, I remember before I met my wife, I would be like on the prowl. And it's hard because you get in the gym and you're like, man, there's so many good looking bodies in here. But it's like, I'm not going to talk to any of them because that's gross.
I'm actually like, I was just like, go in, get the work done, and leave. But
hustle, bustle.
But I
roll.
noticed that she was, giving me a little bit of attention there at the front desk. So I was like, okay.
Okay, queen.
Yeah.
Shoot your shot, king.
Yeah, she's
and you
good
shot
for
your
that.
shot at the gym or no?
Yeah.
You did it at the gym?
Yeah.
Damn.
One of her coworkers told me that she liked me. So.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
But
that's
you
how-
were
Shout out to a coworker.
Yeah.
so like Autumn supports being athletic and your running habit.
Yeah. It's a really good outlet for me. I'm a nervous type individual, so it chills me out like nothing else. Like getting a good run in.
Agreed.
And I think I may have like ADHD or at least hyperactivity disorder because when I don't run or use like a lot of my energy at a focused task, like I'm just all over the place. Like I can't sit. I'm everywhere at once, getting a bunch of stuff done. So if I want to get a bunch of stuff done, I just won't run. And
You're like doing the laundry, trying to learn Mandarin or something.
It's like
You're
a tornado going.
yeah, dude.
Well, I think your body's been so accustomed to using bursts of energy for periods of extensive time that it's developed. Hey, what are we doing? We're not going for a run.
Actually, I have a good question. So aside from Japan, so you spent how many years there? Or
2.
About 2 years?
2 years. So aside from Japan, have you had the opportunity to teach English anywhere else?
No.
Just back to here and then
back to here.
Okay, so what happens when we land from Japan back in America?
Yeah, so I
you go
started
to
substituting in the local schools, and then actually I got on the next August at Scott, Scott Elementary School, which was really cool because there's a lot of Japanese students there from Toyota.
Oh,
so
that's
I used
neat.
quite a bit of the language when I was there too.
Sick, dude.
They had me introduce Japanese families to the school, and it was really awesome to be able to do that.
Yeah.
That's super sick. And I want to kind of do like a flashback to. I know I'm like hovering.
Flashback. Let's keep going forward. There's so much
keep
more
going
running.
forward. Okay, keep going forward then.
I was gonna say, so like when you start getting good at running and you start looking at Strava compared to other people,
Yeah, that's a good point.
like how do you start entering in like more and more competitions? I heard that like people celebrate the day that Steve doesn't show up for runs.
Yeah, I mean, so that's a tough thing. Like,
So people really don't like you, is what it sounds like. That run.
maybe not. I know they don't like me on Strava. I kind of have a bittersweet relationship with Strava. It's a double-edged sword because
You've made a lot of friends / enemies.
Yeah, you make a lot of frenemies in the sport.
lot
But
of
really, I'm
frenemies.
just showing up and doing my thing, just like any other
Yeah.
athlete. I mean, it's an outlet. It's a journey. We find our groove. I happen to find a fast groove, and
it sounds
that's
like you have
okay.
it tuned in too.
Yeah. So I'm at about 10,000 miles over 3 years. So
Is that a lot?
That's a lot. Yeah, it's like 3,300 a year. And the thing is, the average pace is what's rather impressive with that training because my average pace over those 10,000 miles is darn near 630 something.
That's for lack of a better word, retarded.
Yeah,
that's
training's
stupid fast.
The training's stupid fast. It's interesting because you can get good at running through like focusing on intensity or focusing on high mileage. And I'm not really like so much on the high mileage because it can lead to body breakdown and injuries. Also, it kind of messes with my form a little bit, so I go more toward the intensity route.
What do you think it does to your form as an individual? Like, if I were to really,
It's funny that he's saying high mileage, yet he's doing like 13 miles.
No, he means long duration. I think so. Long durated miles, like long races, like 50 plus miles, right?
In training, I'm actually talking about high miles, like over 100 miles a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like high mileage for me a good amount of miles is 80 per week.
80 a week.
Yeah.
God
And then the
bless
average
America,
pace, like
that's a
this
lot.
week I got 75 with like,
And that's 2 runs a day, roughly.
I'll usually do singles, maybe a double. Like this week I got 75 miles with like 3,500 feet of gain. And the average pace on it is like low sixes.
Do you take into account the trails? Do the trails count as extra, like 1.5 mile for?
Nah, I don't
That's
do
actually
that.
a good question. Are you counting those trail runs in this?
Yeah, that's part of the mileage. No, I don't count them as extra.
How much does your pace drop on
Like a minute.
trail versus pavement?
I mean, it depends on the trail. Like Audubon's very interesting because you can't really just understand those paces unless you run out there. And I think I've started to understand what's fast as far as training out at Audubon. Like easy pace for me at Audubon is going to be like an 8-minute mile. Okay, running the loops, 7:50 to 8. And then getting like faster pace, like moderate's going to be like mid 720s. Harder paces are going to be like 640, which is crazy because the road that's nothing. Okay, because you can hold your speed. But Audubon,
Oh
like,
yeah, 8 is
have
easy.
you run at Audubon?
He has
No,
not
I'm
ran
not.
Audubon
No.
yet.
I'm not a big trail guy.
Dude.
Here's my justification behind it. And I don't care what the fuck you say, Thomas. Get off my balls. Dude, so when I did a year in Afghanistan, I was light infantry. So down here you'll see the infantry cross rifles on that flag in the blue.
Yeah.
So hardcore infantry, light infantry, we never drove anywhere. We just walked everywhere. And when you get in a gunfight, you're running everywhere and you're running miles and you're walking miles and you're climbing mountains. And like, it's a very treacherous. Another fun fact about Afghanistan, I've said it on the show before, but just for your knowledge, at base level in Afghanistan, the lowest level in Afghanistan, you're 11,000 feet above sea level. Then there are like the Hindu mountains that you have to traverse all throughout Afghanistan. And I did that for a year, all through these mountains. But I hate trails for the simple fact that I have ran so many trails in that 1 year in Afghanistan and climbed so many mountains. I'm fucking over it. And at that elevation, have you ever ran?
Because you're like 11,000 feet. Is that what it is there?
11,000 base, and then you have 5,000 foot mountains that you're climbing and then getting in gunfights on top of, and like down and up, and you're every in which way you can imagine a gunfight happened, and you're running and it's miserable. Have you ran at elevation?
Yeah. So
Where's the highest place you've ran?
So at Boulder, Colorado, I ran up Green Mountains.
We
the
just spoke
Flatirons.
to
I don't remember.
I'm spacing out, but we spoke to an individual just
How high is
recently.
the elevation there?
You'll have to check me on that. I think
Probably
it's around
8,000.
7 to 8.
Yeah.
something
Was
like
it
that.
different for you not training there and going there?
You know, my body didn't seem to mind elevation. Humidity's the toughest thing. You know,
And here it doesn't matter because it's 98.
It's just really tough because if the body can't breathe, you can't sweat. You're heating
Well,
up
you
internal.
can sweat, but and for the listeners or the viewer, your body can sweat fine in humidity, but the difference is if it's 98% humidity outside, that means that's mostly water in the air, and water does not evaporate to water as efficiently as if you're running in a desert where humidity is 1% and you're sweating the same exact amount. That air is going to absolve that water off your body and allow you to cool faster. So that's the point breaker, right? Don't you agree?
Yeah, for sure. And I can't speak a whole lot to altitude training, but I was in Park City back in January out there snowboarding and skiing.
Sick.
And it was too snowy to run outside, but I was on a treadmill and we were at like, I think 8,000, 9,000 feet. I was around the treadmill and I definitely noticed that, paces weren't as fast. The heart rate's about 10 beats per minute higher. And here in Evansville, when that humidity's up and there's a little heat, my heart rate's usually up about 10 to 15 beats per minute higher too.
And I don't see it on my paces. I don't know about you, Thomas, but like when it's like 100 degrees outside and the heat index is 110 and it's like 98% humidity.
You don't see it in your pace, but you see it in your heart rate.
I don't see it in my pace, my work output, if you will, is almost
I think better.
non-measurable. It's not like non-comparable. Like they look the same to me, like within seconds, but then my heart rate jumps up 10 beats a minute or something.
I noticed like biking to work when it's below 40 degrees outside, it's like 30 degrees. my pace, like I can get to work a whole 10 to 12 minutes faster.
Wow.
Now in the summer when it's like
sure.
warmer and hotter.
That's insane.
Mhm.
I don't, and like I work, it's the same amount of effort and stuff, you know, I don't know the difference in it essentially, but I just thought that was interesting. So
Yeah.
No,
Steve,
it is.
we were
It
talking
is.
about Audubon. I actually ran, shout out to Mike Allen, how we met.
He's
and,
awesome.
Mike Allen, that's who I
Yeah.
was trying to think of.
And we
Jesus,
went
Murphy.
and I ran trails. I was camping out there. That's where I met Steve, and he smoked us, of course. And but the next morning I got up and ran again, and he came back to the campsite. I was camping with Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, shout out
from-
Mr. Freeze, dude.
Yeah.
Miss
Yeah,
you.
Mr. Freeze.
And,
Jeremiah, dude.
He iced your foot.
Or Jeremy. Why do I always say
Jeremy.
Jeremiah?
I don't know.
I always say Jeremiah. Jeremy, shout out. Miss you.
So you had a foot injury, and
Yeah.
he iced it. What was that like?
Yeah, so I think it really helped. Since then, I learned that that's a callus on like my metatarsal there. It's called an IPK. I forgot what that stands for, but it's basically like an internal callus there. So it's doing a little bit better, but freezing that I don't think always necessarily freezes it off. So
Right.
I did a little work on it since then, and it's doing a lot better. It's like a pressure callus.
The game changer in I think in the freezing is simple. It's just like an ice bath or like putting heat on a joint. You're just simply like stressing the tendons and ligaments deep in the joint, so they're like having to respond, and then they tighten up, and then they relax. The way that like you're just
Increasing blood flow.
you're expediting, if you will, the what your body's going to do naturally. You're just making it like shrivel, contract, and expand faster. I'm a big fan of it. We did the one when I had a really hard week of training. I was doing brick training. You said you cycle, right?
Yeah, usually I spin the leg just to get blood in them and stuff. I'm not real hardcore cyclist.
Are you familiar with brick training?
Yeah, so
Brick,
you're gonna
yeah.
ride then run.
Yeah. So during training, getting up to close to the triathlon, like the last 3 months, I did a lot of brick training, like a lot, because
It's
I found out
tough.
I was missing, and it is tough. You do 30 miles on your bike, hop off, and go run 10. It is rough.
Something about the legs.
That
it just feel like
that transition is rough, and I did that hard. In particular, this week, I think I had 2 or 3 brick sessions, and then met up with Jeremy, and they froze me up, and it sucks. I'm not a big fan of the cold, but the next day I was like, yeah, I'm doing 10 miles on just running. I was like, I'm gonna go do 10 the next day, and felt like fresh legs, like
Yeah,
game
for
changer,
sure, for
game
sure.
changer. It's just a quick heal, just a quick turnaround. Big fan of it.
How about
so.
saunas? Do you guys use saunas?
I do it. So where I swim. So like, if you look at my Strava, there's a lot of bikes to the gym, and then I'll swim. And I normally, like if I didn't get like extra like warmed up, like if my bike was like a 6-minute mile instead of a 4-minute mile to the gym, I'll sit in the sauna for 10 minutes before I go swim, and then I'll do a quick dry off, and then I go sit in the sauna for like 10-15 minutes, and it like gets all that extra water almost off me, and I enjoy it very much.
Yeah, I find that it also pulls the tequila out of you pretty quick.
Yeah, I guess.
No, I'm a big fan of the sauna. I don't get out to Newburgh as much as I should. I haven't swam in like a month since the triathlon got canceled, so I'm a huge pussy. But yeah, when I'm out there, when I go and swim, I'll swim for an hour, get out of the pool, go sit in the sauna for 20, just really hang out, meet a lot of old dudes with their, business hanging out.
Yeah,
Which is also very uncomfortable for me. I'm also weirded out by like the amount of dudes that just want to put like a washcloth on their ween. I'm like, dude, like I'm in here in shorts. The least you could do is like get a full size towel.
Right.
You know what I mean?
At
like
least wrap it up.
You're making me uncomfortable. I can count your testicular hairs from here, and you're across the sauna. But yeah.
So do you do
big
a
fan.
lot of
I
indoor
like the
running
sauna.
anymore?
Treadmill?
Yeah.
I hate
don't
the
know.
treadmill.
In the winter, so I'm not really huge on cold. It just takes me so long to warm up because I dissipate heat so quickly. So
And with the
I
low resting heart rate, your hands and feet stay
Dude,
cold all the
yeah,
time.
So that's one thing I
Frigid.
could talk about. Like I've darn near 4% body fat. Like it's slightly miserable. And when you get hungry, like you're super hungry because your body starts to like
You have
cannibalize
nothing to
itself.
feed on. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to be better this winter about running outside more. But yeah, treadmill stuff in the winter a lot. It's just not the same. It repetition injuries in the hamstrings from the treadmill sometimes, so I got to mess with the grades.
But
And
it's
100%.
different.
I've not heard anything good
when
about the
you're-
treadmill.
Well, like when you're running on the road, like your body is like it's different, and so but like when you're on a treadmill, that load is going like basically the same way, every
Same
single
spot
time.
every time.
Yeah, and you're not.
Yes.
Bringing up a good question. So if you're running in a treadmill, you're in a gym. Bringing that up. What about anaerobic training? What does that look like for you? And do you do
one
any
more
of it?
thing on the treadmill though?
Oh, yeah,
I will
sorry,
say this:
sorry.
when it was really cold in the winter, I did put a lot of miles in on the treadmill, and I think one thing it's good for is like form refinement. Like so,
Do you
I'll
videotape
yourself?
it?
yeah, so video analysis, and then I'd always be trying to make little changes like arm carriage. Like the first, I guess when I started Strava or whatever, like the 3 years, the winter I got really good at correcting form. And I would watch, I have 2 treadmills in my garage, and I'd watch like the Olympics. And so I'd like analyze some of the other runners' form, and I'd pick and pull little things that I saw that I thought were really great techniques and great form. So I would imitate them on the treadmill and then video. And so that really helped me like refine form.
Oh, that's neat to be able to
yeah.
watch like live at the same time, watch as you're running, and you're like, oh, he's bringing his heel closer to center mass, and let me try bringing my heels close.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
so you
interesting.
Get, like feedback, and then a mirror too in front of the treadmill, so you can see foot strike. And
I like that.
In
I
the
like
winter, how many layers do you have? Like 3 layers?
oh, you mean when I go out, dude? It's
No, I'm
crazy,
talking
like-
about just like, so like in the winter. So like I have like 10%, 11% body fat, which is nowhere near your 4%.
Dude, I'm
Congrats on that.
never warm in the winter.
But yeah, I stay cold, and I wear like long underwear, and then I wear like normal underwear, and then I wear like pants, and then like I have like a long sleeve t-shirt, and then like a hoodie, and then like a jacket on top of that.
Such a sissy, dude.
It's miserable though.
That, see, Brian, is that like what, probably 15% body
Dude,
fat?
I put.
I feel like that percent, that the few percent that is matter.
No, the thing you got to be careful about, and you have to preface this with. So I don't know at what level runner you are, if you're listening to this or if you're watching this. You have to preface it, when it's cold, when it's negative 15 outside. If you live in Minnesota and you want to start getting into running today, do it. But don't overdress, because you can overheat.
no such thing.
You can overheat, man. If you can't let that sweat out, if you can't let that heat out. So if you've got like, I wear the same thing in winter that I wear in summer. That's weird, right? But I put leggings on, or I put a quick wick top on.
Well, they say dress like it's going to be 10 to 15 degrees warmer than what it actually is.
And-
see, I thought you guys were
yeah.
going to ask me about wearing layers, because I wear layers in the summer too. It's
Oh,
part of
do you
training.
really?
Yeah, so I do layers.
Oh, I run
running.
naked in the summer.
Yeah.
I got like ranger panties and socks and shoes on.
That's gross.
I'm trying to get that tan, dude.
Oh, yeah.
No, but I run in the bare minimum because I get hot. I get stupid hot. So like, that's why in the winter I throw my long leggings on, shorts, the quick wick top all the way to the wrist, long sleeve top, and then I put a t-shirt on, and that is it. And I go run in that. Maybe a beanie.
Dude,
maybe,
you're lucky, man.
maybe. But that's it. You can't. You have to be careful when announcing to new runners to bundle or layer
Well,
up.
I meant we were just
You
talking
have
about
to be
normal
careful.
day to day, like
Oh, I thought you were talking about running.
traveling. No, not. I wasn't talking about running.
With
necessarily.
running.
Yeah,
so
so
what are you
being-
what are you wearing when you're running
Oh, you mean now?
in the winter? Like
In
when
the
it's
winter?
10 degrees outside.
Yeah, so I'll wear like
With a
some
wind chill.
tights and shorts, and then 10 degrees,
10 cold.
dude.
He
Dead
said,
of
I'm not
winter.
running outside.
Dead of winter. You're not running in 10 degrees?
Body won't let me, dude. Like I try,
You'll
but
cramp or what?
yeah, I just shiver. I mean, like hypothermic type of like.
Really?
Yeah, it's a really tough thing. to
Wow.
run. I mean, I can do work like chopping wood, that kind of stuff.
Something
but,
that's going to warm
like,
you up
Yeah,
fast.
the unfortunate
fast.
thing is like,
Well, you're 4% body fat.
and like, so I have to run so fast to heat my body up, but then the chill from the air cools
It's
me back
making you
down.
slow down. Yeah.
Yeah, so then you slow down, and then
And it's harder to breathe.
Yeah,
It gets rough.
It's
in
a
the
real
club.
struggle. I need to get better at this year.
I think I've
so I'm
done
gonna get
the
better.
worst I've done was getting ready for this try. When we agreed to do it last October, I started getting hard miles in, and then winter rolled in, and into October, I think the worst day that I ran in, and I ran in some shitty early mornings and some shitty nights. 10 or 20. It was fucking cold though.
Yeah.
No snow, no ice, thank God.
Yeah, I was
But
biking
like
on that.
fucking cold, and just shorts and leggings.
I was gonna say, so if somebody's out there and they want to improve their running, what advice do you recommend for? We'll do it like two-parter for like somebody that's wanting to get into running. We'll start there.
Okay, so no, somebody that's not
Somebody
running
like
at all.
me that like I hate running, and like I like in high school and stuff, I was like doing 15-minute miles, but like I pushed myself when we started training for the triathlon.
Yeah, you did.
And I ran like a 7:20.
And kudos to you,
something
man.
like
I'm
that.
proud of you.
Thanks,
I'm proud
man.
of you, by the way.
Yeah, so there's some great resource like apps out there. Couch to 5K, my wife did that. That's a really good app as far as
What is
training.
that? Couch to 5K?
Couch 5K gives you, I think it's, I'm not sure the number of weeks, but it gives you a structured plan to follow. It's going to have you walk some, run some,
Oh, okay.
and then do some strength training.
That's kinda
too.
neat.
Yeah. So then it prepares you to run a 5K.
Not so intense, but it's like,
Yeah.
hey, get up, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if someone's going for like an entry level race, a 5K would be a great distance because running 3 miles nonstop is a pretty big challenge.
And
yeah.
if you're signing up in Evansville, you're not going to win against Steve.
Oh,
but just
shoot,
go for
no.
fun.
It's for fun, man. It's a journey. If you want to do something longer, I mean, you're going to have to set a realistic timeline and set a realistic goal. And then I'd recommend if you've not ever run before, use like a Galloway method. That's like a run-walk method. So you're going to do like...
Run a minute, walk a minute.
Yeah, that kind of deal.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's how I started.
I
with
know
my
that
running.
training, but I've never heard it called the Galloway method. That's interesting.
Yeah, so I think Jeff Galloway's his name, and he wrote the book about run-walk training. So the idea is when you start running, though, you're just going to jack your heart rate up if your body just isn't used to the impact. And
Right.
maybe you're carrying a little bit of extra muscle or weight, and you know that you're working, you're moving that body across distance, so that heart rate's going to go up. By walking, it brings it back down. Yeah. So
Can I have a beer?
Well,
dude?
yeah. So I was going to say,
I didn't know how to ask politely.
what was,
You're gone. You tapped out.
yeah, you threw me off.
I'm so sorry.
So no, I was
You
gonna
said it was
say-
a part 2 question. So
Well, yeah,
one
but
for no one
said,
that's
he already said that like for
The part one.
for the long distance runners that he would just recommend like if you're going to run a marathon, know that you want to run that marathon at you want to make that you have your finish time in your mind and you train for that pace that you're going to need essentially for the distance.
okay, yeah. So you're talking about setting a goal pace for a marathon.
Well, that's what like the second part. You
Oh,
said
yeah.
for those that want to
That
run
was his
longer
part two.
distance.
Yeah. So, what's your advice for someone who is a runner, but maybe wants to say they're easily completing 3 miles? They're knocking out a 5K, no problem. But now they're like, okay, I got this half marathon or this marathon in my city coming up and I want to get into it. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, sir. What's your advice for that individual?
Do they
So
have a
they're
specific
already
goal in mind or
experienced.
just to finish?
No, just to compete
finish?
or complete.
Well, like you almost kind of answered it. I felt like when you said that second part of it, they want to go longer distance. That's what I was saying is like basically to find a realistic goal
Yeah, I
that
see what
you
you're
want
saying.
and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
divide
yeah.
it up into pace.
Yeah. So
Is pace king? Is pace king?
a good
Or do you
question.
find that auxiliary input can have a bigger role in being an efficient, competitive, long distance runner? And by that, I mean your anaerobic training, like weightlifting, or your diet, or your sleep.
Do you do a lot of anaerobic?
Or mental
So you're saying
mental
which is king, like pace
intensity,
intensity,
or all
duration?
the other shit?
Oof.
Pace and intensity, or all? Is it? What is the best if I want to run it? Which, by the way, I'm thinking about running the October marathon for the YMCA here in Evansville. But like, if I go and do that, which I know I could complete it, it's not an issue running 20 plus miles. No, got it. I think it's actually a half marathon. I'm sorry, I stand corrected. It's only 14 miles, 13, whatever. But if you want to complete that, what is your advice to that person? Is it focus on your intensity and your pace? Or if you're already doing a 5K or 10K or whatever, good. Stay at that pace and that intensity, but focus on diet, sleep. Or is it a combination of both? You know what I mean?
So I would say if you have a specific like pace in mind that you want to race at, and that's a pretty like lofty goal, like it's going to be
A half
challenge.
marathon is no joke.
Yeah. Distance wise, getting volume volume training in, duration, like it's going to get you to the finish line. Getting enough miles in, getting your base
throughout
up.
the week, training up too.
And then doing your long run on Saturday or Sunday, taking enough rest days to allow the body to build back up. But whenever you're focusing on trying to hit pace and intensity and you have a pretty big goal, all the little things really matter a lot, like getting the right nutrition, getting the right sleep, hydration, adequate hydration, making sure you're doing the strength training that you were talking about.
Anaerobic is huge. A lot of runners overlook that. A lot of guys that look like you, they're 5'7", 4% body fat, and I run a 4-minute 1 mile. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you're fast, but like there's a guy that's built the exact same way as you that's inputting 2 leg days a week at Bob's gym, and like his mile time might be like 5 seconds faster. I mean, when you get to that competitive edge, I really feel like those niche things on the outside really, really matter. Like you're saying, nutrition and the amount of sleep you're getting, and you know, whatever. I actually, that brings up a really good question I also had for your what's the longest race you've ever done?
A marathon.
So
26.2
or 26.2.
Yeah.
What's your nutrition look like during that race? As far as short of Gatorade and water, short of electrolytes, short of the stops.
Yeah.
Are you carrying on your person nutrition?
Yeah. So
and what is that?
Before the marathon, I think I had a granola bar or 2, and then I took a goo. Do you guys know what goos are?
Yeah.
Just
The gels.
Yeah, a little energy shot. And then I took just a little bit of pre-workout instead of coffee. Just a little bit of pre-workout. Coffee kind of upsets my stomach, and you know, too much of that before a marathon.
Well, I think it's the acidity. I think it's the acidity too. Like the acidity from coffee will mess my stomach up if I'm gonna really go after a hard workout.
So I took 3 goos, like kind of in my tights. I took 2 of them during the race, and then I didn't really get any, like that was my big mistake in the marathon. I didn't get any water because I was coming through those aid stations so fast. I was grabbing the paper cups and I wasn't,
and just pouring it on your face.
The speed that I was running, I didn't want to stop. I didn't know how to pinch that. I didn't know about pinching the cup at that time and pouring it in.
What's that? Can you explain that?
Kind of like some of the marathoners told me that you're supposed to like pinch the cup and pour it in. I just couldn't like drink it, so I was just throwing it on my face. So I think I got a little water that way, but I didn't get much water.
I got a dribble.
Yeah, they didn't have bottles or anything. I mean, a bottle's really easy to drink out of when you're running.
Yeah, but you can't fuck with a bottle, dude. Like,
dude, I love it, man.
You're running at 12 miles an hour, and it's like, I don't have time for a goddamn bottle.
So I just had some minor calf tightness near the end at like 25.
It's always at the fucking end.
Yeah.
It's always at the fuck. I don't care if you're running a 3K, a 5K, a fucking 40K, an ultra. Maybe not an ultra. At an ultra, you're probably cramping half or like the first quarter, but like, dude, I've done several races or whatever throughout whatever, and it is always from like 1 mile to 14 miles. I've gone up to in a what do you call those? Tough mudders. Did a tough mudder, and it is always at the end of these races that it's like the last mile. It is always the last mile or the last quarter mile. It's like, here, I know we've made it. 85%, but the last 15 is going to suck my balls. Like, buckle up.
Yeah.
Is it like that for you? Do you notice that? It's always at the end, or have you actually had a race where you're like, holy shit, I'm 50% and I'm cramping?
Okay, so yeah, I did have one. Actually, it was like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago.
Where was it?
The Honest Abe Lincoln State Park race. I decided
I love Lincoln State Park.
So I decided to hop in the marathon at that.
Okay.
And I don't think I was sufficiently trained, but it was a really hot day.
Is this early in your career or late?
Yeah, this was like 5 years ago. 4 years ago.
So earlier in the you taking it serious phase.
Yeah, sure. I just decided to hop in. I hit the first lap way too hard for the heat and humidity. During the second lap, I experienced some crazy muscle spasming. Like crazy, like they were twitching, like visibly twitching.
Right. You can see the muscles like wiggling.
They were twitching out, and so I had to walk the final lap, and it was like 8.7 miles. I finished though, but yeah, my muscles were freaking out. I haven't had that since because I'm a little smarter about hydration and salt.
Yeah,
I think it was a salt issue.
That's a big thing too, like sodium intake, sodium chloride. A lot of athletes, or if you're new to like being competitive, like I am, like with the try thing, I've just been getting into nutrition and like taking it serious over long duration races, like 4,000 milligrams. On compete day, like on your competition day, 4,000 milligrams is not unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
Like 4,000 in the daily average American. Hold on a second.
God bless you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's all right.
But 4,000 in an average American diet is like you have diabetes. 4,000 milligrams of sodium chloride in an athlete's diet on or the day before or on competition day, you need it.
Yeah.
You fucking need
Well,
it.
it's the same with an
I think I got-
athlete and your heart rate. You know,
Sure.
if your heart rate's
Yeah.
like under 40 beats per
Absolutely.
minute when you're asleep and you're obese.
Absolutely. You probably need a
get
CPAP.
Yeah.
Yo, you probably need to see a cardio pump, dude. But like, if you're a fucking athlete running 100 miles a week, like, yeah, if your heart rate's at that point, you're like competing. Like, oh, my buddy's heart rate's 38 resting. I need to get down to
Right.
37. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I think looking back,
And you said yours is what?
37. Yeah,
37. Yeah.
But
On
looking
the
back at
Sunday
that,
he got froze, it was 31.
yeah, there it
Still.
goes.
Damn, you were fucking ultra relaxed, dude.
Yeah. But back to that Lincoln State Park race, I learned afterwards, I think I was super hydrating too much because I saw how hot it was going to be, and I did not have enough sodium in my body. I think that's called hyponatremia is what it's called.
Yes.
Where there's not enough salt and the muscles start twitching out.
Are you familiar with lactate ringers? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Do you ever get an IV before a race?
No.
First off, if you can get an IV, get an IV before
I've heard
a
guys
race.
doing that, though.
Okay, now it's a twofold. And take notes, Thomas. As he's drinking water. Take fucking notes, dude.
I'm never going to get an
and
IV
do some research
before.
on this when I throw this to you before your next competition. Just check it out. Hydrate properly the week before, like week leading up to, and train how you're going to. Do you want a beer or something? Thomas will get it for you.
I'm good right now.
Just
Thank
stop
you.
knocking my plants over,
I know, I
dude.
get these hedgehogs
God,
here.
dude.
What are these things?
Wombats.
That's a wombat. I have a fascination with wombats. They're cute, cuddly, and also
Endangered.
ferocious creatures.
I'm going to get you one for the studio.
Dude, if you buy me a wombat, like an actual wombat, dude, I will.
They're cute. Like, I will
What will you
follow
do?
it.
What
Dude,
will you
I will
do?
literally. I'll do whatever you want for the rest of my life. That's like a $40,000 creature.
Thomas, it's going to happen.
Yeah. Dude, but the point is, so check this out. The next time you have a competition coming up, so a lot of guys will do like an IV. Like now you can almost, in Henderson actually, you can hire there's a company that does, and I want to get them in here and we need to talk to them about it. But there's a company that offers IVs. Like that's it. They just come to your house and give you an IV. It's like a doctor that owns the business. Henderson, Kentucky. Check it out. I don't remember the name of the company, but a couple of doctors own it, and they have registered nurses that work for them where they come to your house and give you an IV, right? Well, there's options. Are you hungover? Are you planning on drinking tonight? What do you need this IV for, essentially? And they have different builds and different nutrients, micro and macronutrients that go into these IVs. There is an IV bag called a lactate ringer. The only reason I'm familiar with this is because my wife is going to school to be a nurse. A lactate ringer has salts, sodiums, like all these different micronutrients that your body fucking needs, and it's heavy in the salt form, potassium, whatever. But essentially, these lactate ringers, if you could get like a regular sodium, like just a regular water IV and then a lactate ringer the day before your competition, golden.
Dang.
Golden.
Try it.
You need to try it. And there's
Interesting.
next time, check it out. Like wherever you're competing, if you're going to Cincinnati for a race, just Google like, does anybody offer IVs? Because it's becoming more and more popular that like people are running these marathons, and it's like, yeah, I've drank water all week, but like an IV would just like put me over the
Sure,
top. You
sure.
might be pissing for like, you might be pissing clear for the next like 2 weeks, but like you need all the water you can get. And then also if you can get micro and macronutrients in there with it, that's also a plus. So.
What does your anaerobic workouts look like? Your weightlifting?
Oh, do you do weightlifting?
Yeah, I do a little bit.
That's a good
I'm
question.
doing more hill work right now,
Knuckles.
like Audubon and stuff. But like, so we do within our runs, we do strides.
So are you calling hill running anaerobic workouts?
No.
Okay.
Like
I would say though
anytime
that
my
like
heart rate
trail
gets,
running
like-
is a full body workout.
They are. Trail running is definitely more anaerobic than aerobic because you're climbing tree roots and whatever, what have you.
Like
But
typically anaerobic, runners we classify it as 200 meters hard. like 150, 200
What about
meters.
weightlifting? Like resistance training hard in the gym?
I do a lot of stuff at my house, but not
Okay.
with super heavy weights. I'll go there and do some leg press here and there, but I mean,
Short of your legs, though, you really like legs and back, maybe core. You really don't need to.
So I do a lot of core. My favorite thing is pull-ups. Like,
Do you have a six pack?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't. He was like, "Do you want me to pull it out?"
Yeah, I mean,
you
I'm
can
not shy
show the
about it.
people. This is your family, dude. He's shredded, guys.
Yeah.
Dude, you are cut the fuck
I
up.
mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you wouldn't think like simple stuff. The reason I show that is because simple stuff can make you super fit. I do a ton of pull-ups. Like a ton of pull-ups.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of knee ups. Lots of the ab wheel.
I love the ab wheel,
like
dude.
RDLs with kettlebells.
Do you ever
things
go
like
down
that.
and just hold it on that ab
Yeah,
wheel?
isometric.
Just fucking, you're out here
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
I fucking hate my life. My mother's a whore. You're like, fucking kill everybody.
Well,
and then
not really like that. but
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
Your mother's probably a very nice lady.
She
My
is,
mother,
yeah.
also a nice lady, but my stepmother, I'll leave it there. But yeah, so like, dude,
I need to lift heavy more. but
anaerobic
I just-
is key, dude. Like
You think so?
yes, and yes.
So we're talking like plyometrics, like box,
yeah, you could do
box
plyos. You
jumps?
need to do plyos at least once a week.
Okay,
I bet.
I do that with the kids at school. We do a lot of like.
Do you participate?
Yeah, I participate.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. But like actual, just like I'm going to go into the gym and lift for 40 minutes. And that's all. And just
It's more
focus
winter training.
hip, groin, abs.
That's very. In the winter, I do a lot of my bulking.
Yeah.
And like, because I'm more hungry in the winter for some reason, probably trying to put on a
I'm
little body
interested,
fat.
though. That's awesome.
But then like that's where I do like a lot more of my weightlifting, and I still swim, but like a lot of my biking gets cut out, which is a big chunk of my cardio. And so like I probably do more weights in the winter and kind of
Yeah.
build up, and then summer hits and I just burn it all off essentially.
I mean,
Oh,
so
yeah.
like anaerobic, like I'll do like striders within my runs, and that just jacks my heart rate up to make it like an anaerobic state.
What's a strider?
So you'll start at 6 by 25 seconds within your run. You'll just choose to run 25 seconds really hard, like super fast, like a sprint.
And
within
then
the
back
run.
to your
And
normal
then back to your normal pace,
7-minute
Back off.
pace or whatever.
Yeah, back it off, and then you can do hill striders too, and that's, I mean, in some ways comparable to not really lifting heavy, but you're using a lot of force, power, wattage.
What do you think? Okay, so there was a period of time where I did like 3 months of just leg day. Like I quit lifting everything else. Like I mean, I lifted my core, like my abdomen and my obliques and stuff. Dude, are you gonna fucking?
Keep telling your story.
I don't want your COVID. But yeah, dude. There was a period in time where I just lifted legs, and I legitimately saw a drastic decrease in my mile times.
Mm-hmm.
Like as I'm running, I'm only lifting legs and running, swimming, and biking. But like my run times dropped.
So, yeah.
I don't know if that's like driving for.
Yeah, so I can speak on that. So the research, if you read the research on what we call like race season training, you want to keep the legs fresh. Whenever you
Okay.
do a heavy lifting, man, it takes all the power out of your muscles.
Mm-hmm.
So they just do not want to perform at race. From what I've read, they don't want to perform at race
And I
levels.
was
So-
lifting heavy, to be clear.
Yeah. So you want, like, if you read the research, you'll want your lifting to be farthest away from your long run or your workouts as possible. Well, I'm doing a lot of mileage, volume, intensity.
You're
in my
just doing a
training.
lot in general.
Yeah, doing a lot. Like in the
All around.
plyo at school, like I have 7 different classes, and I'll do the warm ups with all of them. Well, they're 3 to 5 minute warm ups, but it's like HIIT type of work. High intensity.
It's an
High
intense
inten-
warm-up.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing scissor jumps, that type of stuff, all kinds
Yeah.
of squats. So I don't record all that stuff on Strava or that I'm lifting, but
Right.
I'm getting that.
Your
all throughout the day.
pyrometrics still pick it up in a way though.
Yeah, you pick it up. So anyway, I'm in a race season right now, so I'm not going to be lifting heavy because I want my legs to feel fresh and have a lot of bounce and pop.
Yeah.
Typically, like the way runners would train is you have a 3 to 4 month build cycle for a big race, and then when you're in the base phase of that train, that's when you're getting your mileage. You're also doing the strength work, so that when you add the harder sessions in later on in your training, your body's resilient. It can bounce back. It's not going to get injured because you strengthen all the major muscles and also the minor muscles too.
Oh, 100%.
That's kind of how we think about
There's
it.
about 1 billion of them in your legs and groin. People don't realize how many small muscles
You
are
don't
in your
realize it
legs.
until you run trails.
Fuck, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
You're like,
hurting weird
you're like, why does
places.
this
Yeah.
3-inch span of my fucking kneecap hurt? You're like, oh yeah, there's just one muscle there, and you fucking stressed it out.
Mm-hmm.
But it is intriguing, man. As far as like, so what? I guess I don't know what to take away from your statement.
Let me say one other thing on anaerobic work. One of my favorite things to do in the gym, I've got a couple when I go there, is I like the stair climber for strength. So I'll
Love
do
a stair
long,
climb.
fast stair climbing sessions. My favorite session to do on the stair climber, and some of your followers may want to try this. It's called the vertical mile. So you do 550 floors on the stair climber, keeping good form. So it's 5,280 feet is so 500.
That is
floors.
sweaty.
Yeah.
How many was the Twin Towers?
Too fucking many.
I did that on the stair stepper. Normally when I do the stair stepper, I have to do that just like in my head.
There's like a mile. Anyways, yeah. Back to what you're sorry. Yeah.
So I like that, and then the sled. I like the sled.
Ooh, with weight? Yeah,
with
throw
weight.
some weight
Well,
on
the
it.
new
Samuel
ones are-
Rice, who we had on the show for endurance running, he does a lot of those longer runs as well. He's been posting videos of doing the sled lately.
So I'll pull it, push it, do 40 to 50 minutes.
Dude.
I'll do 40 to 50 minute sessions with that in the winter, and it makes you super strong.
It's rough.
Dude, yeah.
Love it. Like 40 to 50 minutes, like sessions with it, and you're pushing it back and forth, and you just keep going. And like my heart rate's usually in an aerobic zone, but it's strength work. So
Yeah.
doing strength work in an aerobic zone, that's like getting on the squat machine and just hammering out
dude.
squats
I did
in the
a
aerobic zone.
an hour.
It's crazy, yeah.
Dude, I did a stint where I worked with, and I need to get him in here. I worked with a gentleman who runs a high intensity gym downtown in Evansville, and it's just fucking fast moving, heavy weights, and you're just constantly going. But I did that for a year, and it's a good way to cut fat. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good way to cut fat because you're getting the best of both worlds, anaerobic and aerobic. You're breathing heavy, but your body's pushing this heavy ass weight.
Mm-hmm.
It's a neat thing whenever those high intensity classes, like the cyclic classes, or like what else do they call it? Like CrossFit.
Or the gauntlet at BFit North.
Yeah,
yeah.
Shout out Glenn, right?
Yeah, dude. Do you know the Gauntlet? Do you know Glenn?
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Glenn.
dude.
I mean, just an acquaintance.
Yeah,
We're not
Glenn
super
is
close.
dope,
Yeah,
dude.
he's awesome.
His class, the Gauntlet, Thomas was talking about it is legitimately just like free weight CrossFit in a class form, and it's really sick. He's done a really great job with it, and it's really neat to see him get such great results.
And he's actually cutting a bunch of weight for competition. I've been filming
he
some
really?
videos for him every
Jeez.
week.
He's down 30 pounds.
Well, probably more than that now.
30 pounds in 5 months, 6 months since I've seen him last.
Shredded.
Yeah, he's cut up and he's fucking. I won't reveal his age, but he is a elder gentleman, and
So-
he's just shred like a diamond, dude.
Steve, along this path, was there ever like an injury or something that happened where you just were like, man, fuck this, I'm done.
I'm
Like,
out.
I'm tired of running.
yeah.
Or
Peace
like,
out. I'm going back to sitting on the couch.
So yeah, I think.
And you don't have to get too in detail if it's like
you're
something
fine.
personal.
No, it's cool. Yeah. So there's been a couple things. I'm not really prone to injury because whenever I started my journey, I said I want my stride to be right. So I tried to adopt proper mechanics. I did have some hamstring issues, some upper like hamstring, maybe tendinopathy, and that was from running on a treadmill too much. Okay, because I set the speed, and then my mind would say,
Just keep going.
We're going to keep going at that speed no matter what. So that's a repetitive overuse thing. I had that maybe a couple years ago, but I was able to quickly heal it by doing hamstring curls on an exercise ball.
Oh yeah.
So eccentric type movement.
Yeah.
Was able to clear that up. I have had some issue. This is really interesting, slightly personal. I'll talk about it. I think I have some issues with hydration, and also my body fat percentage is very low. So I guess it would be March 2021. I started pissing blood. Okay. So very interesting.
I see the slightly personal part now.
Yeah. So yeah.
But that happens.
So yeah, and it's happened at least 5 or 6 occasions since. Okay?
Urosis? What do they call it?
It's called
Urosis?
gross hematuria.
Hematuria.
And what the doctors confirmed was that it was from bladder slap. So I don't have much adipose tissue down around my like organs. So when I was dehydrated, the bladder, it would slap there. It would cause like small adhesion or whatever, and then that would
Almost like bruising or bleeding. Yeah.
So, but that's quite scary, whenever everything feels good in your body and then you're peeing blood.
right.
And then you're nervous because you're like, it doesn't hurt when I'm. That's another thing.
I thought it was rhabdo,
when
which
you-
is common among CrossFitters because they'll
yeah.
hit it so hard they'll start leaching myoglobin, which is muscle fiber.
Yeah, you're
been
just
broken
you're
down.
just
Yeah.
pissing out protein at that point. It gives you a dark hue, like a dark brown to your pee. But when you're pissing blood,
So then you
quite a
just
bit
had to So like instead of throwing in the towel, you just did the research to like properly diet.
So
Instead of quitting,
Yeah, so I'm not a PT or anything like that, but I've researched a lot of things. So I was able to research that and properly, and I went into urologist too, and they said that's what it was. And I had a big feeling it was gross hematuria, and I've had it come back once or twice since, and I've been all fine. Just make sure I'm not hydrated. I just got to make sure I hydrate because I get busy with those kids at school. I'm hopping around, sweating, don't remember to drink, and then I go on a long run after school. That's hard, and then that can happen. So
you're banging it around, dude.
Yeah, and then my foot. I guess it was also January of 2021. I stepped on some eroded pavement, and my foot went down like this, like crazy, and I damaged. I guess it would be like the midfoot there, a cuneiform. Anyway, there's some remaining scar tissue. I developed bone spurs on top of my foot. So actually, just recently, maybe it was 4 weeks ago now, I went in finally after almost 2 years and got a corticosteroid shot in that part of my foot.
Is that helping out now?
So I have no pain there, and the doctor was really knowledgeable, and he believed that it may give that area what it needs to get out of the inflammatory
enough to heal.
Yeah, and I have no pain there now, so I'm pretty grateful. But
so what kind of during these hard times, short of like reaching out to folks like, hey, can you help me? Give me this corticosteroid, or hey, why am I pissing blood? Like short of like reaching out to medical staff, like what pulled you through those hard times where you're like, ugh, I'm scared. Maybe I should slow down, but you didn't slow down. What, like, did you have a mental driving force? Like for me, when I was in Afghanistan, when I legitimately thought I was never going to see America ever again, like I didn't know what the next day would be like. For me, my anchor or my rock or my stone was my mama. And just like getting back home to my dog and my mom, like that was it. I just wanted to come back home and hug my mom again. So, and not to say that it has to be a family member, but like maybe it was like a musician or something. Like, was there something that like kept driving you to like, okay, well, I know that there are I need to find these solutions, but like, what personally drove you? And that's what we enjoy so much about this question, is that it kind of gives it the ultimate deep look into the person's persona of like, okay, what drove this person to be who they are? Yeah.
So I think, first of all, I would say perspective. It's just a hobby for me. Like there's a lot better athletes out there.
Well, it's more than a hobby. Look at you.
Yeah, but I feel like it's something I love doing, but it's just a hobby. So keeping the perspective that this is just one small part of my life. And then I have an amazing wife that's super, like, honestly, my wife is super supportive in every way. And I'm so, like, she helps push me through. I feel like I'm not going to be able to do the sport again. And she just affirms that it's going to be okay. It's all right. It's going to, you'll get through these times. And also, like, knowing that other athletes, like reading stories from other athletes that were at a really big low, like at a horrible low due to injury or due to just losing motivation. They made it through it, and now they're back doing better. Knowing those things can help push me out of maybe, the fear that I have to give up the sport or lose a sport.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's good that you have that support chain behind you.
I gotta wrap up. The talking about blood and stuff got to me. Sorry, Steve, but this has been another thrilling episode of the Days Grimm.
My name is Brian Michael Day, and this is Thomas Grimm. Thank you very much, guys. We're gonna roll out on that. Thank you very much. Kristen, help! 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 Faster! Can you move faster? Now! She just dropped. I don't know. Hey, watch this phone. You're okay. Shit, we lost it.
Hey guys, if you liked what you heard today, there will be a new episode next Tuesday, as well as every Tuesday at 6 a.m. So hit that subscribe button and let your phone do all the work for you.